So the only reason that I say the New Testament doesn't present Jesus as the Adonai of the Hebrew Bible is because I'm Mormon, right? Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. And the answer to that question is, ha ha ha, of course not, please pay better attention. And there are two reasons for this. The first is that my personal religious beliefs are not a part of my social media content or my scholarship. They play absolutely no role whatsoever in the scholarly positions for which I advocate in print and on social media. And I've demonstrated that numerous times, and I'm going to do so again here. And that brings up the second reason that that is not why. And that is because that's not what Mormonism believes. In fact, it is official Mormon doctrine that Jesus Christ is the Jehovah of the Old Testament. And that has been officially stated as recently as the year 2000 in The Living Christ, this document from the First Presidency and the Quorum of the 12. And you can see in the highlighted portion, he was the great Jehovah of the Old Testament, the Messiah of the New. But this doesn't just date to the year 2000. This goes back over a century. And it is most clearly articulated in this doctrinal exposition on the Father and the Son by the First Presidency and the 12. And this is primarily written by James Talmage. This is from 1916, where it lays out a systematic understanding of how Jesus can be the Father and how the Old Testament overwhelmingly refers to Jesus as God, or as the Lord, or as Jehovah. And in the year after, in an edition of the Articles of Faith, James Talmage further laid that out, and here you can see in the highlighted portion, it is to be remembered that the personage most generally designated in the Old Testament as God, or the Lord, is he who in the mortal state was known as Jesus Christ, and in the antemortal state as Jehovah. And if you'd like some great discussions on how Mormonism got to this systematic understanding, I would highly recommend this article from 1984 from Sunstone by Boyd Kirkland, and this 1986 dialogue article also by Boyd Kirkland. Now, people will respond, but Mormons believe that Jehovah is a separate deity from God the Father. And yes, that is a part of Mormon doctrine. It's also entirely alien to anything I ever talk about on social media. Now, if you would like to understand where I'm coming from, the first thing I've published on this was in the journal Biblical Interpretation way back in 2017, Cognitive Perspectives on Early Christology. I also have an appendix in my book, Adonai's Divine Images, A Cognitive Approach, where I discuss the application of the theoretical model I develop in this book to the question of early Christology. And then in April of next year, my trade book, The Bible Says So, will be coming out. And here is the first page of the table of contents from that book. Each chapter will discuss a different claim about what the Bible says. And here on the next page of the table of contents, you can see chapter 17, the Bible says Jesus is God. So I've got a much more detailed discussion about what I think the Bible actually says about Jesus' relationship to God. And as with all of my other scholarship and social media content, it will have absolutely nothing to do with Mormonism or with Mormon doctrine. And the fit for this video has been venom.